Hey, and welcome back. Have you ever been threatened by someone else's opinion? There's a lot of times, Adele, I would rather be right than relational with you.
Same.
And so we talked to Ted Cunningham just about this. Let's see what he says. I would sometimes rather be right than relational, or sometimes rather be right than loving. And how do you and Amy work through that part of your relationship, or do you even have a problem with that?
Oh yeah, I mean we know that healthy people are not threatened by the opinions of other people. We're not threatened by the opinions or feelings of other people. So the key to that for me is listening. That's that Old Testament term, incline the ear, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just lean in and listen, because listening says you matter. It doesn't say I agree.
Right.
And I think we're so far from that in our culture today.
Mm-hmm.
I only, because I think we get our news from algorithms on social media and cable news networks that reinforce our biases. So we only want to listen when we agree.
Right.
And obviously we're always right. Our opinion's always right. Our feelings always right. Everything is always right with us if I can just convince the other person. So when I want to be right and not relational, the flip there, the bridge there, is listening. Listening is relational. Listening isn't debate. Listening is relational. So listening means you matter, I love you, I'm committed to you, I want to know why you think this way, feel this way, have this opinion. And then if marriages in our culture could really get this, disagreeing with you doesn't mean I hate you.
Mm-hmm.
It just means I have a different opinion. And so, have you ever thought about this, Travis? We both could be right. We have a decision to make, and we can be settled on the fact we're both right. Gary Smalley always called this helping your spouse win every argument. And to me, if you do the work of listening and really wanting your spouse to feel understood and valued and validated, and you're empathizing with your spouse, I think if you have a husband and wife both doing that, I don't think you care about the decisions. I really don't. I think they go away, and you then at that point you're relational.
Helping your spouse win the argument.
Yeah, helping them win every argument, letting them be heard, understood, valued, and that's all it needs to be.
Wow, he had some really great golden nuggets in that one.
Yeah, I'm glad that we took notes on that, because there's a lot of times I would rather be right than relational, and that things you would say would bother me.
Yeah, it used to feel like a threat. Like he was saying, what he said is, we know that healthy people are not threatened by other people's opinions.
I was not healthy because
me either.
she would have opinions about something and it would really bother me. And now I totally get it, because now I'm not threatened by people's opinion, and I'm okay with them having whatever it is they have to say.
Whatever they want to think, yeah.
But man, it really bothered me, and it kept me, I don't know the words, but it really kept me from growing.
Small?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have near as many friends as we have now, because there weren't just enough people that thought how we thought.
That's a good point.
About life.
That's a great point. I did not have close friends growing up or later on in life, and I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, being threatened by other people's opinions, feelings, or needs. And then he talks about how to work through that and how listening is the key. And isn't that the truth? I mean, we've learned so much about how we used to listen and how we listen now, and how they are drastically different.
One of my favorite topics to talk about is listening, because a lot of times I would listen to, specifically you, I would listen to you to respond. Like you would be saying something, and in my mind I'm thinking, oh, that's not true, and I can't wait for her to be quiet so I can come back, and I'm thinking of these like lists and things that I'm going to come back with you at, and I'm just really bothered by what you're saying, and I'm not listening. I'm listening to like key things that you're saying. I'm listening to key points just so I can rebut it.
Yeah, have you ever experienced being in a conversation with somebody and you can tell that they are not listening to a word you're saying? They're thinking more about what they're going to say next because that's what's more important. And when we listen like that, we actually have a filter that we're listening through. And so for me, I was always listening for when are you going to point out I'm not good enough?
Yeah.
And it would just, confirmation bias, I would find it all the time in what you were saying, which would make me want to respond and say something immediately. And so sometimes I would cut you off or, quickly say something or, whatever. And you can tell I'm really not listening to what you're actually saying.
Yeah, I would do the same thing. I would listen to you from judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Like the things you're saying in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, she's judging me right now, or you're judging this circumstance, or you're judging my opinion. And I'm not really listening to you. I'm listening to be like, all right, so this is how I'm going to defend myself. And this is how I'm going to come back at you. This is how I'm going to win this argument with you.
He says, listening says you matter. It doesn't say I agree. Wow. When I first heard him say that a couple years ago, it blew my mind because when I was listening to you, if I didn't agree with something, I felt like I could not see where you were coming from.
Yeah, I could not move on. Let's say you said something and it was wrong in my opinion. We can't go on to the other topic or the other subject or whatever else you need to talk about because we need to fix this because you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't agree with your opinion. So we're going to stay on this one until you either get right or what you would end up doing is getting upset and then I would end up giving up.
Yeah.
Being like, okay, I shouldn't have done that.
And now we're in a vortex.
Yeah.
And we're both triggered and now it's hard to come back.
I don't think listening is really taught that much. It may be. I just don't think I really grasp it.
Yeah.
How to really listen. Like that is closing my mouth and taking away the things in the judgment I have in my mind and setting it all to the side and being really present with you as you're speaking about something because I really don't have to agree with you.
Mm-mm. And I don't need you to agree with. That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh, that's interesting.
When I am sharing with you an opinion, a feeling, or something that's going on for me, I only want you to listen and just see where I'm coming from. I absolutely don't need you to agree. And I felt like in the past, that was the goal, is defend why I felt the way I felt so that you would finally agree with me. And now I'm right and we get to move on.
It goes back to the first point. Yeah, you're right. It goes back to the first point of being a healthy person.
I knew I was.
You got me choked up on that one. It goes back to him saying a healthy person doesn't need that.
Oh, yeah. He says, we know that healthy people are not threatened by other people's opinions and feelings.
But I would be that way. Like you were talking about, you don't need that now. But I would be that way where if you didn't agree with my opinion, I would still need you to agree with it.
I remember there were times where I'm not looking for him to agree. I'm just sharing something. And then I finish sharing and your response would be, well, I don't agree with that. And I'm like, well, now where do we go? Like, I wasn't even looking for that. But when you would be like, I don't agree with that, it's because you were listening through judgment.
Yeah.
And you needed to let me know that I was wrong in whatever it was I just said. And it makes it close my heart so fast when that happens versus just taking out the I don't agree with that and putting in, tell me more about why you feel this way or why you have this opinion. And now I'm actually talking more and I'm healing and processing at the same time. And then just being like, yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
I see you.
If you want a winning phrase in your marriage, she just said it.
Say more.
Tell me more.
Tell me more.
That's a winning phrase in a marriage.
In any conversation, actually.
Yeah, you're right.
Because
You're right.
it puts you in the curious shoes rather than the judgmental, I'm
I don't agree.
really thinking about what's going on in my head instead of what you're actually talking about. And something I've also noticed since I've learned to listen is sometimes I will finish speaking and the person I'm speaking to says something back that I'm like, where did that come from? That has nothing to do with what I just said, but that's actually what they heard because of what was going on in their mind at that time. And so we'll be sure to do more videos on listening because it is such a key to a healthy, happy relationship.
It is. So the curious question I have is for you is, how do you listen? Take a moment and just really think through, how do you listen to others?
Yeah. And thanks for joining us for this conversation today, and be sure to join us tomorrow. Their videos are short and sweet, so you can listen while you're getting ready for work in the mornings. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Bye. Hey, you're not finished yet.
We're here to make a difference and inspire your marriage and other marriages as well. And if you found value in these videos, leave us a comment and let us know what that was so we can make other videos similar to that.
We would love for you to join our community of awesome, like-minded people.
They are awesome.
Go ahead and hit subscribe, and you'll get daily motivational videos that impact your life and inspire you to be your best self. This also helps us get our message out to marriages all over the world. So thank you so much for subscribing and joining our community.